performance out of him tonight if they want to end this 2-game skid.
That has them at 3-4 in the ACC. Other side for Notre Dame, Mike Bray's group, 1-6 in conference, and he has always been one to be a believer in mojo, right? So what did he do Sunday in the weight room? He brought in a box of Krispy Kreme donuts.
I wish you'd have told me. I'd have brought us some donuts from Winston. You know, that's where the original Krispy Kreme donuts built, so I would have brought him a couple.
He said we all had to do one, as if it were like a late-night beverage at the Packer.
You cannot not eat a Krispy Kreme donut. Who can resist that?
We'll see how the sugar affects Notre Dame against this Florida State team in black on the road. 5-13 overall for Leonard Hamilton. There's Jalen Worley, gives it up to the sniper Darin Green, and into the corner for Caleb Mills on a baseline drive and reverse for 2.
Good start for Caleb Mills. He's a guy Florida State Seminoles want to get going early, and on cue he scores on the first possession for them.
See the starting lineup for Notre Dame. Nate Laszewski's the leading scorer. Gets it here from Dane Goodwin and had it blocked by Cleveland. Goodwin can't follow, and it's cleared by Cleveland.
No one stops the ball.
Oh, right down the lane, Matthew Cleveland.
You got to pick up the best player on the floor. Matthew Cleveland doing Matthew Cleveland things, going coast to coast there.
And a guy who is normally soft-spoken and quiet, fired up with the emphatic jam.
See the different styles in both teams defensively. Florida State pressures you. Look how far Notre Dame's running their offense. They're nearly at the logo. And on the other end, Notre Dame wants to keep everything in front.
Trey works on the drive, couldn't get it around the length of 6'10" Cam Corrin. It is all Noles so far the first 90 seconds. See how much zone Notre Dame plays as well. They went 50-50 man zone in the first meeting between these teams 4 weeks ago down in Tallahassee.
Matthew Cleveland here just getting off to a fast start. No one stops the ball in transition. And he just comes down and just rocks the rim here. You don't want to give a great score an open dunk to get him going. That's the last thing you want to do. But hopefully Notre Dame tightens up on the defensive end of the floor.
And a beautiful sight for Cleveland. Corrin over the top for 2. Cam Corrin from Allen, Texas, makes his 6th straight start. Started with that Notre Dame game 4 weeks ago, and he went for 18-7 in that ball game.
He did. A season high for the freshman. 18-7. And again, difficult guard for them. His size, Nate Laszewski likes to guard. He's used to guarding bigs on the interior, but when you're guarding Cam Corrin, you're going to have to guard him on the perimeter. He can put it down and make plays.
You talked about the matchup for Notre Dame's offense against the length, the pressure, and the switching that Florida State always does.
Florida State doesn't allow you to run your plays. So when you're driven by your sets, Florida State's going to make you just play at some point. You got to attack him, and they'll make some mistakes switching. When they go to their bench with some of their younger guys, they're not used to communicating. But you're going to have to drive against length. And Notre Dame usually has the size and advantage over the guard play, but they don't against Florida State because of their length. As you see, that's black shot there.
Yeah, that's 6'7", Matthew Cleveland, athletic, on a guard in Trey Works.
Athletic 6'7" as well. And Notre Dame's smallest guard is 6'5", but that's also the smallest guard on the floor for Florida State as well.
Green, he has that type of range, missed it back iron, and J.J. Starling, the stud freshman, with a rebound and kick. Cormac Ryan came up short, took a tumble after launching.
It's a missed shot there by Notre Dame, but that's the way you want to see them play. They need J.J. Starling getting downhill, getting in the paint, and creating for himself, but more importantly for others.
Corrin on the step through off the offensive rebound, and he's got 4 of the 8 for Florida State. 8-zip early.
Both of these teams struggle rebounding the basketball, so it'll be interesting to see who wins the war. They're the 2 worst rebounding teams in the league.
Goodwin down the lane, doesn't get the roll again. He felt 6'10" Corrin on his hip.
Yeah.
Green on the baseline. Tough follow away. That is smooth, and Mike Bray needs a timeout.
Just his pace of this game right now, you can tell it's Florida State's getting up and down. Notre Dame can't establish their defense right now. Florida State just got them on their heels early.
10-0 out of the gates for Florida State here in South Bend. The great Leonard Hamilton has his Florida State team on the road. They're coming off back-to-back losses, like you said, including Saturday at home against Virginia, 67-58. He said post-game, I was surprised we didn't lose that game by more, the way we played and the way their health has been this season.
Yeah, his teams tend to run out of gas. If they come out right now, they're coming out all guns blazing, so to speak, and they're just so much energy. But their issue has been sustaining that over the course of 40 minutes because they got guys that are just playing a ton of minutes.
Green. Transition three.
Notre Dame just looks a step slow. I mean, one thing about when you're trying to match up, Florida State's just rebounding the ball and just running. They can't establish their defense. Someone's got to get a man. You just got to get a man, stop the ball, match up, figure out your matchups at a later date. Right now, they're just on their heels.
You said sustaining energy has at times been the issue for Florida State. Not this energy burst here early on as Nate Leshesky gets fouled underneath and will go to the line. ACC on ESPN. Told you first meeting between these teams 4 weeks ago. Florida State had the lead at home. J.J. Starling tried to will Notre Dame back into the game, and Notre Dame had a chance down one at the end, Randolph.
Yeah, just tough luck there. Tried to advance the ball up. I mean, this team has lost so many close games all year. They battled back in those road games, and they actually lost to Syracuse twice. The first game here, they were up one with 14 seconds left, couldn't close, and it's surprising with just so much experience of it, in the team. This team is a veteran group, and you think they'd handle leads a little better than they have so far this year.
Mike Bray said to his team at the end of shoot-around today that last week, in their only ACC win so far, here at home in overtime against Georgia Tech, he said you guys dug in for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
He said you didn't do that for 40 minutes against Syracuse in Central New York on Saturday, and you got what you deserved.
True. The other thing is we also know is, judging from the 13-0 start, no more Krispy Kreme donuts either.
No.
We gotta scrap that.
He is a man of superstition. So, yeah, push that button, and that's it. Baba Miller into the game in his second career game, 11 in black. Came up short from three, but another offensive rebound. Here he is on the reload on a nice step through, got the roll.
He has so much length and size with him that he's going to be able to get his shot off whenever he wants, and that time just got to a spot and just elevated and finished. Now, this is the end of the floor for Baba Miller. He's had to make the biggest adjustments. He's level of communicating and moving, guarding on the perimeter.
Right now he's matched up with Dane Goodwin. Marcus Hammond on the drive, and he played really well Saturday against Syracuse with 18 points, his most in a Notre Dame uniform.
He's played really well the last 6 games. He's up his scoring averages as he's gotten healthier and healthier, up to almost 11, 12 points a game. So expect him to settle this group down. Notre Dame's gotten back into the zone, kind of slow Florida State down. Get back control of the pace of this game.
And Green snipes another out of the corner. Darin Green, 40% from three, second best in the conference.
Yeah, Green's, he's the one guy in this group. You got to find Green with that current group of the players on the floor. He's tied for second in the ACC at 3-point percentage. Find him when you're in zone.
Offensive rebound and stick back for Dane Goodwin, and back-to-back Notre Dame buckets after they started 0 of 7 from the floor.
Good offensive rebounding and put back there. They just have to continue to control the pace of the game. This team struggles, but you got to find this guy.
Green connects, and he's got a chance at 4.
You got to find the best shooter in the gym. I mean, he might be arguably the best shooter in the gym. And they go to zone twice, and you got to find him. That's just too easy. His range is that far. You have to get out there. I think they were yelling at the guys. You got to know where he is. He shoots you from deep, and Leshesky just went out late and had to foul.
263 career-made threes now for Darin Green, the UCF transfer. We told you one of the best in the ACC from long range.
Well, he's 3 for 4 right now, so I think he's up Monsanto right now. So if he doesn't shoot anymore, I think he's second, depending on what Monsanto does tonight against Clemson.
Wow, it's incredible work with fractions and math right there. Wow.
Sounds like he wasn't a math guy. He didn't like it.
Vedal and Lubin, the freshman, in his second game back from an ankle injury. Popped it up, trying to kick it out to Nate Leshesky.
Yeah, he's working his way back into shape that time, trying to make a play, driving it. And you got to be careful against this Florida State team. The guards are coming in there, they're stripped, and I think they got their hands on that one and forced him to pick it up, and he tried to rush a pass to Leshesky and threw it out of bounds.
Green to the bench. Chandler Jackson, 0 in black, the freshman from Memphis, comes into the game for Leonard Hamilton. They're out there with Mills, Cleveland, Miller, and another young freshman, 6'10", Deontay Green. Jackson with a tough shot on the run.
Very difficult shot. You can tell they're putting the big men, Lubin and Leshevsky, in ball screens and forcing rotation. And right now, they're either shooting threes or driving closeouts right now. They're having their way.
Lubin was battling in the post against Green. And the foul goes against Caleb Mills.
There's a ton of time left right now, but you can't panic. They shoot the basketball too well. This is one of the best, second best three-point shooting team in the ACC. There's plenty of time to come back. The issue is they got to start defending and getting stops. Right now, they're not doing that. Seminoles are 10 of 13 from the field right now, so you got to get stops if you want to get it. It doesn't matter who you play, give up those type of shots. This is a streaky team because they're a jump shot shooting team, and when you shoot the amount of threes that the Irish shoot, you know, you're going to go through cold spells like this.
Knocked down 15 of them against the Syracuse 2-3 zone. Starling on the drive past Green.
That's the one guy that can create for himself and others. He needs to get the ball in his hand while this team is struggling and do just that. Put pressure on the rim and force rotation.
How important is dribble penetration for Notre Dame offensively to open up that shooting you're talking about?
Well, you have to against Florida State because they switch everything. So ultimately, they're going to force you to just make plays off the dribble. And J.J. Starling is the one guy who's gifted enough with the ball against this length and athleticism to not only score for himself, but have a high assist game to create for his teammates. And they're going to need that tonight.
How uncommon is it to switch 1 through 5 the way Florida State does?
Not many people do it for Florida State. The problem is they've had so many injuries that it's limited to depth. And when they just run out of gas. They just get tired. And then that's when teams have made their run on them right now. They've played with so much energy tonight, but when you're scoring the basketball, the ball gives you energy.
Jackson with the shot clock winding down, and everyone's getting involved for Florida State.
Wow. That's not a strength of Jackson at all this year, shooting in the mid-30s, sub-30 at times. But it's a lot easier to take those shots when you're up.
Only his third made three in his freshman season.
See, this is what it does. You run the ball screen, it's just switch, and then you're attacking length.
Oh, Starling no with the left hand, and the rebound Miller. Worley to the rim, and he draws a foul.
So if you're wondering things what Baba Miller can do for you when he's coming back, he just grabbed a rebound there as a wing coming down. That hurts most teams. They don't have a 6'11" wing grabbing offensive rebounds and pushing the break. He just did that. Found Jalen Worley there who attacked in transition. So he's looking to come in. He's not scoring, but you can see his impact and what he brings to this Florida State team now.
Yeah, pretty nice to have 6'11" and the skill set, the smoothness of Baba Miller from Mallorca, Spain. We told you second career game, well documented by now, suspended the first 16 games by the NCAA, and then didn't play Saturday because of tonsillitis. And they increased the strength of his antibiotics. They actually thought at one point he was going to need to have his tonsils removed, but it's great to see that he's feeling better. And a guy, you see that bottom note, the mock draft from The Athletic, perhaps he has that upside.
I just saw one of the scouts here before the game started, and they watched him practice, and they were blown away, and actually said that had he been able to play this year, they think he's talented enough that he would have been a lottery pick. Not saying he still can't, but that's the type of respect that they have for his talent and his skill set.
Well, Baba Miller and the Noles have it all going so far in South Bend. They lead by 21 early on. Noles fans thrilled to see Baba Miller playing in his second game for Florida State, because you see all sorts of absences, and this is not the exhaustive list, but it is extensive for some of the guys who have been missing for Leonard Hamilton this year.
I mean, we've lost 3 guys for the season. Jackson didn't have any preseason. He was injured right up to the very start of the season, and then Baba didn't start. Plays 1 game and then misses 1 for tonsillitis. Just a lot of injuries, and when you play the way and the style that Florida State plays, it just makes it difficult. You run out of bodies.
Cormac Ryan fouled on the drive. Cam Fletcher, he had been playing very well for Leonard Hamilton. He just had his ACL surgery on Friday, so he's not here with the team. Wanted to send him our best because he's a fun player to watch.
He is, and this team, he's dearly missed with these guys. I mean, his defensive ability and shot making and athleticism.
Hey, coming up next over on ESPN, we'll take you to Rupp Arena in Lexington for Oscar Tshiebwe and Kentucky hosting Georgia. How about that 2-game sequence for Kentucky? You lose to South Carolina, and then you go beat Tennessee.
college basketball. But they're tailor-made for him. I thought the Tennessee brands itself on physicality, and there's not a more physical player in the country than Oscar Shoeboy. You're not going to out-tough him.
You predicted that one.
I did. I called that game.
I can confirm because we were in Atlanta.
We did. We talked about this.
You saw it coming. Florida State in control, and Matthew Cleveland wide left from 3. Nate Laszewski the rebound. And where does Notre Dame go? Start trying to creep back into this game.
I'd like to see him continue to play like this. Not so much in sets.
Starling short. Ryan the offensive rebound. Back out Laszewski. No.
That's a good possession. I know they didn't make the shot, but the energy's there. Attacking the rim, paint touches.
Second time Notre Dame has fouled Darin Green from 3.
You know what? When you emphasize to a team, can't give up the 3-point shot, can't give it up. They just run so hard to take it away. You're talking about a guy that knocked down 3 already. He's gotten off to a hot start with 12 points, and you close out late. They didn't switch like they're supposed to. When you blow an assignment, you make those type of mistakes right now. And Notre Dame just seems a step slow. I mean, because technically with their lineup out there now, they can switch everything, and I think at some point they're going to have to. They don't want to switch Nate Laszewski on these guards, but he's hedging. But all the other guards, 1 through 4, they can switch that. That was a guard-to-guard switch. You didn't talk. Cormac closed out late and committed the foul.
And Darin Green makes all 3. He's got 15 of the 32, a guy who only had 8 in the first meeting between these teams, and that was the start of him being a little bit quieter recently from 3.
Well, he's making up for it tonight. I mean, he's gotten off to an incredible start here.
Hammond, the Niagara transfer, sticks another.
He's another guy that they can lean on. I think his ability to get in the paint, create, and his shot-making ability, shooting 45% from 3. So we expect him to have the ball in his hands a little more. I mean, between him and J.J. Starling.
Off a screen, not there for Tom House. Worley battled for it, but it belongs to Notre Dame.
To Notre Dame, a lot of time here. Plenty of times. 10:29 left. You want to get this under 10 if you can by the half. It's an over 20-point lead. Don't worry about that. Keep chipping away at it. They're playing with a little more pop, a little more energy. The other thing is move the ball against this Florida State team. This team will break down and make mistakes like this. Move the ball.
Leads to a layup off the shot fake for Dane Goodwin.
You don't have to be dynamic with the ball when you shoot the ball as well as Notre Dame does. Just play off your shot fakes. They got to close out hard. And you can drive it just like that.
Cam Corrin's got the size advantage. He skips it for House, known as a shooter. Can't connect. Weak side rebound, Hammond. Hammond pushes. Laszewski in transition. Gets the roll.
When you get stops, you can get out and run like that. Florida State has an imbalanced group because their guards go to the offensive glass. So if you can rebound, you can hurt them on the other end, just like that last possession. Expect on this end to put Laszewski in ball screens.
14 and Green matched up right now to Cam Corrin. Here is a ball screen. Laszewski gets switched onto Worley.
And watch, yeah.
You would have gone back to Worley.
I would have gone back to Worley and let him drive. Now you're forcing the Irish to switch ball screens like that. Even with Laszewski in, they do it. You want to take advantage of it. But when you're shooting the ball this well, you start taking quicker shots, not the rhythm shots you were taking early in the game. So this isn't a dynamic shooting team for Florida State. So if you're Notre Dame, you just continue to keep scrapping, keep defending, give yourself a chance to play. Just execute on the offensive end. Move the body and move your ball.
Notre Dame on a 7-0 run the last 2 minutes, and Ryan has a chance to add to it at the free throw line.
Great job by Cormac Ryan there, just turning the corner and challenging Baba at the rim, using his body to shield them off so Baba couldn't block his shot. All he could do was foul.
Talk about the experience of this Notre Dame team. Cormac Ryan, 24 years old, 3-time captain, and you were crunching more numbers on the average age of these two rotations and rosters, and Ryan obviously at the forefront of it for Notre Dame.
And I think he has maybe the most fundamentally pure jump shot in the league. I could watch him shoot the basketball all day. He shoots it as well. If you're teaching someone how to shoot the basketball, you put in the tape of Cormac Ryan, and he keeps it high, it's quick, no wasted motion. I think he's, from a fundamental standpoint, if I'm teaching someone how to shoot, I'm watching Cormac Ryan.
You're bringing him to the ACC
yes. I'm bringing him to the 6 and 7 under youth.
Oh, good cut. Miller on the reverse. Nice feed as well.
Florida State's playing really well. Just unselfish basketball. Not settling for jump shots. And that's easy to do when you got such a big lead. But
snap the 9-0 run for Notre Dame. Goodwin shut out by Jackson. Bounces back out for Hammond. He's got Corin on. Hammond gets the friendly roll from 3, and Marcus Hammond has 8 for the Irish, who have it down to 14.
Yeah, great jab step, backed off. And again, you don't want to leave a guy shooting as well as he is on the year. Open for 3.
Jackson steps into the mid-range, way too strong, tipped around, and it belongs to Notre Dame when we come back. The lead was as large as 24 for Florida State, but Marcus Hammond has the Irish on the run back.
Hammond with the knockdown 3.
Dame, a couple of teams picked top 6 in the preseason poll in the conference, but this is how the top 8 in the ACC looks at this point.
I think it's open for anyone. I think Clemson has separated themselves a little with a 2-game lead. Big game tonight in Winston-Salem against Wake Forest. That'll shake things up a little bit, either bring them back to the pack or they'll further extend themselves from everyone else. So a lot of basketball left to play, even for both teams in front of us that were picked 5th and 6th in the preseason. I think there's a lot of time for these guys to catch up.
How real is Clemson? They're up to 19th in the country. They just had that huge win at home against Duke that had the fans storming the court.
I think they're legit. I mean, I heard today there's a chance that Chase Hunter may not play. I think he's helped them tremendously. And being a guard that can create. They got scoring inside balance. They defend so well.
Good catch underneath by Green. He got bumped and will shoot a pair.
Another opportunity there. Florida State just pushing it up. Irish not matching up. They're not stopping the ball. They're not matching up properly. And this is direct rim run, and Green catches it and shot fakes and draws a foul. You're lucky there's not an and one there. Just a step slow.
Second foul on Nate Leshevsky. Hey, college basketball quadruple header for you Saturday over on ESPN and the app. It all starts with these 2 games. Isaiah Wong, number 17 Miami, against Kyle Filipowski and Duke at noon Eastern. Then Wade Taylor at Texas A&M. They've won 6 straight against Oscar Tshiebwe and Kentucky. Miami with a win against Syracuse yesterday, even though Isaiah Wong was quiet.
Yeah, the zone bothers him quite a bit because he likes to drive and get in the paint. So that's a great win with Miami because he didn't play well. But again, I think that team is so balanced. They're really good. They're not going anywhere. When the dust settled in the ACC, they'll have something to say about it.
We saw them now at 6 and 2. Deontay Green split at the stripe. You see Notre Dame heating up offensively. Now by 15 after they trailed by 24 against a Florida State onslaught here in this first half.
Notre Dame only has 1 assist in their 7 field goals, but expected a lot of that because, again, as you see, Florida State just switches everything. Great finish there. Hammond's having himself a heck of a start here.
He's up to 10 for Notre Dame off the bench for Mike Bray.
Should fall back to the 2-3 zone. For Florida State, you want to move it around and try to get the ball right in the middle near the ACC and the free throw line, but Naheem's in, so watch the lob. McLeod, if they can get it inside. Try to get it in there. Turnover.
Taken away by Hammond. Gets it back from Ryan. Why not?
Heat check.
Swirls it out. Off misses, you often see Notre Dame go back into man. But they do settle back into the zone here.
They've had difficulty guarding the ball when man-to-man, so I think the zone is just slows. You see now it slows Florida State down, but look at them try to force the ball like they did last time, right there in the middle of the zone.
Take it away. Now 5 to shoot. Darin Green walks with it against J.J. Starling.
Back-to-back turnovers forced by the Notre Dame defense there. Again, the zone bothers Florida State. He's slowing him down. Just catching him. He shuffles that pivot foot, pivots left one, and slides it back. Look at him lift it.
Yep.
Great call.
I told you the first meeting, Notre Dame played almost exactly a 50-50 split of man and zone. That was the second most zone Mike Bray has used in any game this season in the 18 games they've played so far.
Well, expect it to be higher tonight because I think he'll play. I don't know how many more possessions of man he'll play.
Yeah, he told us pregame,
yeah.
I will ride it if it's working.
Yeah, I think he needs to ride it.
McLeod passing out of that post near the ACC logo to Miller. Backs it out for Worley midway through the shot clock. Threads a good-looking pass to Cleveland, who missed it short.
Yeah, this is what you want to see with Notre Dame. You want to get this guy head of steam driving the basketball in transition.
Lubin couldn't follow the Starling miss. Green off a screen. No.
This is part of the game what we talked about with Florida State to let you back in. You can see their defensive intensity is dropping a little bit because they're not used to it. These guys are logged a lot of minutes.
Hammond comes up short. Ryan the rebound and two.
They're going to hurt each other on the glass. You can see we talked about as well. Two of the worst rebounding teams in the ACC, picking and choosing their moments. They're hurting each other. It's only an 11-point game right now. They're digging themselves back in it.
We'll step aside for 30 and then back to South Bend. Marcus Hammond has played a key role in Notre Dame slicing in half what was at one point a 24-point deficit.
I mean, he's a guy that plays starter minutes, and he's gotten off to a hot start today. Taking a little bit of a breather right now, but again, his shot-making ability has been much needed. I mean, he sprained his MCL early in the preseason, struggled getting his legs under him as the season started, but he's in a groove right now. Like I said, averaging double figures the last 6 games, and he's already in double figures tonight.
Florida State trying to solve this Notre Dame zone here at this end of the floor.
That's where you want to get the ball to right there. But you got to move after you pass it in, and they're standing there watching as well.
Green too strong. Goodwin bumps Miller and commits a foul on the rebounding weak side.
Another thing you see there again with Baba Miller is 6'11" guy. He plays on the 3 and he plays the 4 for this team. So his skill set just allows him to do so many different things. Welcome for sore eyes there from Coach Hamilton getting him back.
Worley kicks it out. Green wide open, misses from deep. Corin secures it, and Lubin clears it. Starling, risky pass, caromed out to Goodwin, and the Irish can reset. Starling, had it pop out, tried to jam on Florida State.
J.J. Starling attacking the rim tonight is a great idea any chance he gets. I just think he puts so much pressure on that rim. Nearly great left-hand finish there.
Corin off the turn and face. Who do you want in that ACC logo spot for Florida State?
I think you always got to put your best player. I think you put Matthew Cleveland there. But the problem is that when you got to flash in there, because if you don't, they're just going to match up against you. But you want to get Matthew Cleveland in there.
Wirtz. Yes.
That 2-3 zone by Notre Dame has completely flipped this game. Now Florida State is really tentative against the zone now. They're looking for where their offense is going to come from. Green's missed a couple of shots.
And Ryan swipes Miller. Cormac Ryan slows things down. Now Starling wanted to attack and will slow things down. Notre Dame down by 8, single digits for the first time since it was 8-0. Starling for 2, and it's down to a half dozen.
Just a tough matchup for any big. J.J. Starling just gets ahead of steam. Unbelievable rally here by Notre Dame responding so early. I thought getting it under 10. They're looking to get the lead.
Still 2.5 to go until intermission.
How about that?
Miller on the baseline. Shot clock below 10 for the Noles. Worley shut off. Corin from the free throw line, a streak stopper.
Yeah. Just a great shot there, just catching it at the elbow, free throw line, and just finishing. It's not a guy known for his shooting, so they backed up, kind of a dare shot, and he knocked it down. But this is the end of the floor where things have flipped.
Goodwin drives on Cleveland, can't scoop it around him, and Florida State has numbers. Green on the runner. Rebound Lubin. Looks like Mike Bray wants a timeout. He's not even going to wait for them to get into the front court. He will take it now.
Trey Works decided to join the party today. We know he's a great three-point shooter. Knocking down a three. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game.
Was 32-8 in favor of Florida State. How has Notre Dame made this a game?
Well, they switched their defense, and when they went to the zone, it changed everything. Now the ball is not moving as quickly. They've been able to set their defense. They got caught in transition early, and it's led to some transition points. And again, currently they're on a 21-5 run after starting this game down 32-8. Now the Krispy Kreme donuts might be in play. We might get those again. We might get.
Because the zone's working.
The zone
see
working.
what it's done to Florida State offensively.
But that's the Achilles heel for Florida State, their ability to consistently make shots. We know Green's a dynamic shooter. They want to generate turnovers and pressure with their defense as they're picking up full court now. But Notre Dame has multiple handlers and multiple guys that can initiate offense and create. And they don't have to be dynamic with the ball. They can just put pressure on you because they can spread you out and force you to guard them from three-point line. And then they can just attack the paint like this.
Works, drove against the 6'10" Corin, and Cleveland ripped down the rebound and attacks. And then lofts it toward the sideline, rescued by Worley.
Great hustle there by Worley. You never want to leave your feet, as Cleveland did.
Jackson short. Corin battles for the board and does keep it with Florida State at this end of the floor.
I think Bill Covington didn't want to call a foul. I think the ball should be Notre Dame's ball, but I don't think he wanted. Maybe he thought it was a foul, didn't want to call it. Yeah. It's either the ball or a foul on Leshevsky. I think he'll just say, hey, you guys take the ball.
Instead of off Corin.
Yeah, you don't want the ball. You don't want the foul there.
Cleveland in that mid-post area this time.
That's what you want.
At the logo, had it roll out.
That's what you want. He's your best player. You live with that. Good shot.
Inside the final minute until halftime. Florida State by 8 on the road. In a game both teams are desperate to win. Hammond. Back iron out of the corner. Starling nearly stripped Corin. There's a 4-second difference between game and shot clocks for Florida State at the end of the half.
Again, you want to try to get someone flashing there. Notre Dame will have time to get a shot off. Almost a 4-second difference, and if they rebound, it'll probably be more than that. I don't think they're going to take it down to the end and take the last shot because there is time. So,
well, 3 to shoot. Worley picks up his dribble. Cleveland, tough shot goes over Cormac Ryan, contested. Florida State had a foul to give. They do it on the floor with 1.3 left.
Design play versus the zone to get Matthew Cleveland there, as we talked about, getting the ball in the free throw line area. Great mid-range jump shot, raising up right there over extended Nate Leshevsky. Just a great shot.
So 1.3 for Notre Dame with Dane Goodwin to throw it in for the Fighting Irish.
One little heads-up play there by Worley. Just a foul. Cameron Ryan tried to get a basket in by halftime, and just high-level play by both teams. Credit to Florida State coming out strong. Better credit to Notre Dame by responding.
Huge lead for Florida State. Notre Dame closes, and it's a 10-point margin at the half in South Bend, Indiana.
Deserving of everything he gets. Still as energetic as ever.
As ever. Told us he's been hitting the weights
He
hard.
has been.
Legs, leg extensions, upper body, abs, obliques. He went on and on.
Yeah, he dropped some lbs, man. He's trying to get his abs back.
He's down 12 pounds
Yeah,
in 3 weeks, he told us.
Yeah, I could use some of that.
Yeah, me too. J.J. Starling to the cup to start the second half as we welcome you back. 8-point game, Florida State in front. He's Randolph Childress. I'm Mike Monaco, part of Super Tuesday here on ESPN.
Now you see the scouting report coming into play. They're backing off guys here at Worley's. Not a guy they deem could beat it from shooting.
Cleveland, he has improved his shot a whole lot since last season.
He has. He turned down the three, gotten more of his comfortable zone. Hadn't shot it well so far tonight. Hit the bucket right before half and got to his mid-range shot there again.
At 10 rebounds in the first half. He is in search of what would be an 8th straight double-double. Last Florida State player to do that, Reggie Royals, 52 years ago.
I had him as a nominee on my All-Florida State team, so I am very familiar with who he is. I might have backed out and subbed Doug Edwards in for him at the last minute, but he was on my all-time Florida State team.
Were you around firsthand 52 years ago?
No, I wasn't, but I did my research on it. I did my research.
10-point lead, Darin Green, he had 15 in the first half. Tossed it back for Cleveland. Back out Caleb Mills, he had 2 fouls, only played 7 minutes in the first half. He gets bumped, gets it to go, and Caleb Mills with a chance at 3 for the Noles.
He's just a natural gifted scorer. He's not a great shooter. He's a really good scorer of basketball. Just scores off balance shots like that. Takes and makes difficult shots. And you see here's one right here. Just off one leg, takes the contact, falling away. Great sight if you're a Florida State fan. Get him back in the game. He's the 3rd leading scorer, but he's a really explosive scorer when he's playing and he's in a groove. Let's see if he can get back into this game having sat for so long.
We talked to assistant coach R.J. Barsh at shoot-around today. He said Caleb Mills is the guy that has to step up because he can bring other players along with him in a way that maybe other guys on the roster can't do to the same level.
Because not only is he a gifted scorer, he's a gifted passer for a long time. He's in his more natural position now, being at the off guard. But to start this season, they had him playing a point. So now with Worley coming in and his game elevating, it's allowing him to slide off the ball and score a little bit more and then create when he does that. So it takes, and you have to guard him, whereas with Worley, you can play back off and say, hey, take these jump shots. And if you make them, we'll make the adjustment. With Mills, you got to guard him.
Cleveland off the lob. Florida State ran that a couple of times in the first meeting against the Irish zone, but a turnover on the baseline.
It's Notre Dame. You're still in this thing. Just run your offense. But at some point, somebody's going to have to make a play off the dribble because they switch everything.
There's Goodwin. He's going off the bounce. On Mills to the basket.
There you go. Attack the rim. Someone comes. Skip it to that weak side corner. If they don't, you got to finish just like that.
Corin posting up on Leshevsky. Offensive foul on Cam Corin, his 2nd.
Yeah, you saw him dip that shoulder in. Bad move there by Leshevsky. As soon as he dipped the shoulder, just automatically went down. You don't get that bump anymore. Defensive guy has position. You can't just run right through his chest like that. Great call, great defense there by Leshevsky. And picks up 2nd foul on Corin.
Corin's now on Hammond, trying to stay in front of the 6'4" guard for Notre Dame. Ryan drives on Cleveland. Worley switches, and Ryan was out of bounds on the baseline. So just the 3rd Notre Dame turnover.
You'd like to see someone else do that, and then Cormac kind of receiving it. You know, you want to see Trey Wirtz, so you want to see Hammond kind of initiating when things break down. And Cormac with that sweet jump shot kind of finishing things as opposed to him trying to initiate the offense.
Cleveland on the baseline against the zone. Mills kept it alive. Tossed it back out for Worley. On the pop for Worley. He knocks it down.
Great shot by Worley. Coach said he's been working on his jump shot. It doesn't take many. But sometimes to keep the defense honest, you got to take those shots and can't let them just kind of sit back and sit in the paint on you. So if he starts knocking down shots, then look out.
He's put a lot of time into his jump shot. Hammond is blocked by Cleveland. Mills in transition. Kicks for Green. Too strong. Rebound Leshevsky.
Green's kind of cooled off a little bit. He had 15 quick points and missed his last couple of shots here. Good look there, though. Open 3 in transition.
Wirtz drives. Ran into a trio of Noles. Hammond.
Great offense. Great offense there. Just penetrated, threw back behind the ball. It's hard rotation, and when a person drives back baseline and someone feels behind, it's hard for the defense to recover there, and just good offense by Notre Dame.
You see 13 from Marcus Hammond. He's made 3 threes. Worley. Wirtz out him. Worley to the cup. Gets the roll. So he's made a 3 and now attacks.
He's so gifted at that. I thought he did a great job in the previous game when I saw him play. Just getting in the paint and creating for everyone. He's not a great shooter, but if he can make jump shots, he keeps you honest, and really good on-ball defender.
Hammond spins one out. Cleveland in transition on the Euro, gets the roll.
He's so great at that. Rebounding and pushing. That's the most dangerous thing that he does. When he rebounds as well as he does, pushing it in transition just makes him very difficult to guard.
And a timeout, Mike Bray.
Jalen Ward, he only shooting 29% on the 3, but he doesn't care.
Mike Bray fiery in the Notre Dame huddle during this timeout.
Yeah, he's got to challenge these guys. He did a great job of defending in the first half after they fell down to that 24-point lead. Cut it to 10 at the half. Florida State's coming right out in the second half. They go 5 of 6 shooting, build the lead back up to 15. The game is far from over, but with this experienced group, you expect them to come out and start the second half a lot better. And he knows what his team is capable of when they defend. And he's got to challenge these guys because, quite frankly, this is a game that they're fighting Irish. They have to win this game at home.
They're 1-6 in the ACC. That's tied for second to last in the conference, only ahead of winless Louisville. And you just get the sense that Mike Bray has really spent much of this season trying to push the right buttons with a team that won multiple games in the NCAA tournament last year. They did lose some big pieces off of last year's team. Blake Wesley, one and done, first rounder.
Yeah.
Prentice Hub, the point guard. Paul Atkinson, the big. But Mike Bray has been trying to find the right recipe with this year's group. They're down by 15 here at home in South Bend. Notre Dame here in South Bend.
I think the biggest thing that we take for granted with the team, I think when you look at this team, you're kind of figuring out this team was picked 6th in the ACC. They made the tournament a year ago. What's missing? You know, well, Prentice Hub's gone. Then you get Marcus Hammond. You think like, okay, that's a fair trade-off. We got the same similar production. Blake Wesley comes in. You make 14 points a game. He leaves early. You get this high recruit, this McDonald's All-American. J.J. Starling comes in. Similar production. But the Paul Atkinson production at 13 and 7, they just can't make up. And you can see that missing. His ability to throw the ball inside against games like, you need him in games like this or any game. That production inside, they just don't have. And it's a significant blow to this team. And they're pretty much just a perimeter-oriented team. So he's the one guy they've been unable to replace.
And you could argue without a true point guard on the roster as well, without Prentice Hub. And for as adventurous as the Prentice Hub experience was at times last year, Caleb Mills muscles in for 2 more.
He didn't shoot the ball great last year, but he showed up at big moments in late games. And I think his maturity allowed Blake Wesley, you know, to get comfortable in his role with the team as well.
Mills pushes off the Goodwin miss, and Cleveland went up for the lob on the baseline.
Great flash by Caleb Mills. I don't think Cleveland was expecting that. Just a great look and find in transition.
Wirtz, no, and a rebound. Miller, he gets tangled up with Goodwin. How about Miller went wrestling for that loose ball. Arrow points to Florida State.
Great fight by both teams. That's what you want to see. Teams are going to the bench right now. Notre Dame got plenty of time. Coach Covington told us there's nothing to look at there. I didn't think there was anything. Just 2 guys falling to the ground with the ball. So
Notre Dame extends out some pressure on Florida State. Leonard Hamilton right now has Jackson, Miller, Mills, Cleveland, and Corrin, the 5 on the floor for the Noles.
I'm shocked to see they're not in their zone right now. I think they're going to have a difficult time containing the dribble against this Florida State team if they're in their man-to-man.
Mills behind the back, dancing on the baseline. Cleveland hoists. and hits. Boy, Matthew Cleveland is a star in the ACC.
He shot the lights out of it yesterday. Got off to a slow start today. And great drive by Caleb Mills. No one's shooting it better right now than Matthew Cleveland.
Lubin is fouled by Jackson on the offensive rebound. Cleveland's got 8 straight double-doubles now.
Just playing as well as any player in the league right now. Gotten off to a slow start as his team did at a 1-9 start, but they're well on their way. If they can hold on with this game, they'll be 500 in the ACC. And no one expected that when they started the year the way they did.
How high can this team still ascend?
They're getting healthy, and I think some of that will be, I think you know what you're going to get with Matthew Cleveland. You kind of, Caleb Mills is sliding back to his natural position at the off guard because the ascension of Jalen Worley's playmaking and pass first mentality. I don't think anyone knows what Baba Miller is going to bring to this team. We know what his potential is, but as he becomes more comfortable and more productive, then look out, because his versatility on the perimeter, and then you can slide him down to the 4, then look out.
And this is only the 8th of 20 conference games.
Yeah, we got a long way to go. We're not even at the halfway point in conference. I always say when you get into February, then you know what your team is and you know what your team isn't. Right now you got guys coming back from injuries and all those sorts of things. When you get to the month of February, you know a lot about your group.
Mills is bumped. With Cleveland as well. We were talking to Leonard Hamilton yesterday when they came in for practice last night after they landed from Tallahassee, and he was singing the blues. Back-to-back losses. And we said, well, who are you most pleased with as far as players go? And the first guy out of his mouth was Cleveland and what he's done for this team. And we said it off the top. Leonard Hamilton called him the backbone of this team. Yeah,
he's had every reason to be proud of what that young man, Darin Green, finally gets it going again. But scored 15 quick ones in the first half, and 12:40 mark finally gets it going in the second half. I think Hammond missed an opportunity there with Baba Miller in the air to kind of get it 3 free throws.
Post entry for the freshman Van Allen Lubin, and he's blocked by 7'4" Naheem McLeod.
Yeah, I don't think he had a chance to get that off against Naheem McLeod at 7'4".
Mills slashing, tipped around, last touch by Hammond out to Ryan. Notre Dame runs, Wirtz. No. Tracked down his own rebound. He was the last to touch it. And it's Florida State basketball.
You see the adjustment made by Florida State. As soon as Notre Dame goes to the bench and brings Lubin in, then he comes in, brings McLeod in. He wants to keep big on big.
Baba Miller needs somewhere to go, and it's a 5-second count on the inbound.
Yeah, freshman mistake there too. You didn't want him to call a timeout if he could, but young mistake.
Hey, Olivia Miles and the number 7 Fighting Irish women play their next game Thursday night against Clemson. And then after that, Sunday afternoon over on the ACC network, Notre Dame against Virginia at 14-4. Coverage starts at 2 Eastern. Olivia Miles, by the way, over the weekend at Syracuse. She got surprised by her family. They came in, made the trip to Central New York to watch one of the best players in the country. Wirtz gets bumped by Florida State. He'll have free throws on the other side. Noles in control on the road in South Bend. And has stepped up. He's got an 8th straight double-double, and we still have 12 minutes to go.
Matthew Cleveland just doing Matthew Cleveland things. It's almost like you just expect it out of him now. I mean, for a guy his size, he's rebounding the basketball at a high level. We talked about it in the open, how he's improved three-point shooting, he's improved jump shot. He's always been a great slash and drive of the basketball, but right now he's dominating the glass. And I think one of the most dangerous plays in the ACC is when he rebounds and then he starts leading the break. Makes this Florida State offense even more dynamic.
Leonard Hamilton said to us last night, Steve Smith, one of the Florida State assistants, has done a ton with Matthew Cleveland to work with him, not just on his shot, but also on making him more vocal and the communication piece as well for a guy who naturally is the more studious, quieter,
reserved. Yeah, I've known Steve Smith a long time. He's a heck of a coach, and I'm not surprised a bit. He actually coached at Clemson, so he's familiar with the league and got an opportunity to come over here. And Coach Hamilton raves about him. He's just a great teacher of the game. Relates to his guys, and someone that I expect to be a head coach in the coming seasons.
Part of a great Florida State staff. Stan Jones, of course, long time on the side of Leonard Hamilton. Cormac Ryan off the shot fake, got Cleveland to fly by, missed the shot.
I think those two guys are attached at the hip. When one goes, the other one's going. Naheem Cloud with the catch and finish there. Finally got his hands on one. 7'4" big man with Florida State.
On the feed from Cleveland, Hammond hits.
That's right in front of us. Looked so good when he left his hands. Someone's got to help Marcus Hammond out. I mean, he's been the offensive guy right now. He's got 16 here, and who's going to be the other guy to step up and take some of this offensive pressure off of him?
Nobody else with more than 6 points for Notre Dame alongside Hammond. Chandler Jackson with the shot clock below 10, back up top for Darin Green in the logo. Green looking for some separation, and he's hot again.
Wow, just like that. You can see him just sizing him up, looking to get space, and when you're guarding a guy like that, he can shoot it from the parking lot, so you got to get up on him, and just a great job there. He's in a groove tonight.
Miller fouls Wirtz.
Big fella with the screen and just comes down and McLeod just finishing. You don't even have to jump the dunk. So easy for the big guy. Green just looking for space. Hammond's too far off. You know the saying, hand down, man down on my guy Mark Jackson there. Just Florida State looked just like that, back up 21, and just when you thought the Irish had it cut to this lead and had a game, and now Florida State's on a run.
We have 10:16 to go here at Purcell Pavilion in South Bend. Abe Leshesky has to throw it all the way into the backcourt, and Ryan shields from Worley.
Notre Dame's one of their last 8 from the field. Where's their offense going to come from?
Ryan is fortunate that that was a kick ball.
Yeah, it was. Made the wrong read there. The play was the opposite side to Hammond and tried to keep the ball on the strong side. When you penetrate against his length, always look weak side.
Ryan off the baseline, out of bounds, no.
Florida State has numbers here if they want to take advantage of it.
Instead, they now operate in the half-court offense against man from Notre Dame. And Wirtz picks it from Mills. Trey Wirtz in transition. And Green pries it free from him. And it will stay at this end of the floor. Hey, we've got a college basketball quadruple header for you Saturday over on ESPN and the app. Miami and Duke. That's a big one at noon Eastern here in the ACC. And then in the SEC, Kentucky and Texas A&M. Should be another loaded slate of college basketball this weekend.
Well, you're getting to a point in the season right now for some teams where they become must-wins. They become games that you just have to win. We felt that way at like Notre Dame. And I think that Miami-Duke game at home, I think that's a game that Duke has to find a way to try to win that game.
We know Jeremy Roach is out. What else is wrong, in your opinion, with Duke right now?
Well, that's a big what if. You're talking about a first-team guy. When you're starting all freshmen, you need your all ACC point guard there. Battle, Final Four tested, experienced point guard in the lineup to help settle things down because he's another creator and he makes things easier for that group. So getting him back and him being healthy will be enough. Interesting thing with this game is you're seeing Mike Ray is sticking with his man-to-man defense. I think he's just challenged this group now. I think you could go with the zone. He said to heck with that. You guys, he challenged them. We're going to guard these guys man-to-man. I think he's testing his guys. He challenged them in the timeout. They came in and responded. I think he's trying to say, hey, I'm not going to fall back in the zone because there's enough time that if they wanted to get back and fall back in their zone to give them an opportunity to get back. It worked in the first half. I don't think they can sustain guarding this Florida State team in a man-to-man defense.
You know, one thing with Notre Dame that I think is interesting that Mike Bray has mentioned a few times this season is how serious this group is, especially some of the seniors, fifth-year seniors on this team, as Wirtz misses, and that he's trying to get them to find the right balance between loosening up and being locked in and focused as Worley scores for the Noles. And now Marcus Hammond is down in some pain for Notre Dame. And that's about the last thing they want to see.
No, you can't lose him just because they're not a deep team, and you can't lose him because he's been their best player tonight. So
he hobbles off for Notre Dame. Cormac Ryan comes back in. Now Matt Zona gets up off the Notre Dame bench. Seldom used reserve. Sort of the 8th man for the Irish. And that's a spot Mike Brey through the years rarely goes to. But anyway, we're saying that it's a really serious group. We asked him today, and Mike Brey said, yeah, it is as serious a group of seniors as I've ever had, and that's been something for him to navigate over the course of these years.
I mean, it matters to these guys, and I know you look at the score now, you look at their record, and you don't think it. I think sometimes when you get in this situation, I often say it feels like you're in quicksand because you want it so much and you're trying. These guys are working their tails off, and you just can't feel like you can catch a break. We're sitting here talking about this one game. And this is a team that's dropped 4 games in the ACC that they've led by double digits or they've led late. And things could change. This team could be 5-2 right in the hunt.
Instead, in danger of falling to 1-7 in conference. Works to the cup.
And then you talk about a team preseason picked 6th in the country, in the ACC. And then you just haven't been able to live up to the expectations right now when you think you've replaced a lot. But as we talked about, them losing Atkinson is just big.
Zone of the rebound off the Caleb Mills miss. Inside of 8 minutes to go here in South Bend. Wirtz barrels to the cup for 2 more.
Great strong finish there. So now with zoning in, they don't want to switch. They don't want to put a guard on them. So now with the bigger bodies, they want to change things up. Let's see Leonard Hamilton make that adjustment.
Timeout, Leonard Hamilton. They've got the lead. 7.
Talk about one of the things that's so dangerous about this Florida State team is this right here. When Matthew Cleveland rebounds the basketball, he pushes it. It's just offsets your defensive setup. Can't find guys, can't rotate. He's either scoring or he's finding his teammates tonight. He has 12 rebounds, a couple of assists. We already talked about it. He has 8 straight double-double tonight. I don't know what more you can say about him. Coach raves about him. He's his best player, and he's doing it all right now. He's playing as well as any player in the ACC.
Saw at the end of that play as well. That's when Marcus Hammond rolled his ankle. Saw him sitting on the bench. He was getting medical attention and now just sitting alongside his teammates on the Irish bench. They trail big. Coming up on 7 to go here in the second half. Here's Cleveland again, going to work, backing down on Cormac Ryan. Sticks right with him and commits a foul on Matthew Cleveland, who mutters something in Ryan's direction.
He's trying to get to his spots there. He loves to take smaller guards, get to about 10 to 15 feet, turn and elevate over him. I thought Cormac Ryan did a really good job of holding his ground. If he just went vertical there. But he's competing on the defensive end. I think he's their best perimeter defender. And I'll say this about him. I think he has a chance to get invited to someone's camp as a 3-and-D guy.
Cormac Ryan?
I do. I mean, like I told you about his shot. I think he shoots it as well as anybody else. I think he's an underrated defender. I don't know why the last couple of seasons he hasn't gotten the respect I think he deserves on the defensive end.
You said best perimeter defender.
Yes.
He's the best defender, period.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I
they
would
don't
say
have
on this
many.
team.
Yeah, on this team. I don't think they have many defenders at all. So. But even in years past, I always say perimeter defender. But yeah, he's definitely the best defender on this team.
And to your point on the shooting, 37% from 3.
Yeah, that translates. And if he plays somewhere where he knows that's what it is, I think those numbers can improve. He'll be a guy you'll look up in free agent camp and look up in a year or two is on someone's roster.
He is the vocal leader on this Notre Dame team as well.
Because he got size. I mean, he's a 6'5" guard that shoots it and defends at a high level. On
Right
cue
on cue.
with a steal. Look at that.
Lays it in.
Everything with the layup translates. You got to punish. You got to punch that down. You get out on the break. I'm talking you up, and you make a play.
I knew you couldn't resist.
Yeah, you got to dunk that, baby. You can't lay that up. But hey, it counts as 2 anyway.
What would you have had in the bag there? Windmill?
Oh yeah, I would have did the double pump off the glass layup. I might have stopped and shot the 3, to be honest.
So you've done that too. And that's insulting. On a pull-up 3 on a breakaway.
My coach would have. I think I even would have got yelled at for doing that.
Starling to the rim. It's a 15-point game, just under 6 to go.
Again, there's plenty of time, and if they wanted to go zone, they could. It turned things around early, but I think Mike Brey's challenging his group. Like, step up and defend.
And he gets another pair of deflections And now Notre Dame runs. Leschewski hits.
There it is.
All right now.
They're capable of this. He's challenging on the defensive end, and they've shown they can do it. He's not falling back zone. Guard the ball, guard your man. As Coach Hammond just says, I've seen enough.
13-1 run for the Fighting Irish.
Yeah. Poor Mike Ryan. We just like on cue there. He must have knew I was talking about him. Just got his hands in the passing lane. He's making plays in the defensive end. Stills gets out. Like to see him tomahawk that, but the lay is nice either way. Comes down on the other end there. I mean, just translates. J.J. Starling getting strong to the rim. They're making a run back in this game. There's no quitting this Fighting Irish team. They're too experienced. And Leschewski, 6'10" big, stretches the floor well, shoots it as well as any big in the country. And time to make a run here. I think they got enough in them to do it. Let's see if they can sustain this defensive effort because they're not a deep team.
Lead has been as large for Florida State as 24 points a couple of times this season. Biggest comebacks in Division I men's college basketball this year, 23 points. It's been done 3 different times. BYU in November, Charlotte in early December, and South Dakota State in the middle of December. And now Notre Dame has whittled it down to 12 with 5:19 to go.
See, I thought they'd try to sneak a possession of zone in there coming out of the timeout. You knew he was going to drop a man play, get one of his guys isolated man-to-man. So I thought he'd try to go zone, but stick to it. He's challenging his guys. Sit down and guard the basketball.
Starling is battling in the post with Darin Green. Late shot clock. Cleveland can't hit. Rebound Hammond. Starling in transition. Goodwin. Short. Where does Florida State go?
I think you just run your offense. You know, if they're going to stay man-to-man, they have multiple guys that can attack the paint off the dribble and put pressure on the rim. So just run your offense. Expect to put Leschewski in ball screens like they're going to do here. They're going to come back, put him in ball screens again. Force them to switch, and then you got to attack him.
They got Green. Set another screen. Goodwin switches on to Green. Late shot clock again. Green spinning. Can't hit. Wirtz. Extra pass now. Starling with Hammond back into the game for the Irish.
At some point, someone's got to put pressure on the rim. They got to get in the paint, put pressure on the rim. There you go.
Goodwin off the cut. It's down to 10 points.
Yeah, can't keep selling and shooting jump shots. You want to take threes. Got a lot of shooters out there, but you got to put pressure on the rim. You can't play outside in sometimes. Sometimes you got to play inside out.
9-0 run the last 2.5 and 15-1 the last 5 minutes. Green off his foot and a turnover. Notre Dame will have the ball and the momentum when we come back. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. It's easy to... Down inside Purcell Pavilion, this game has been wild. I mean, Florida State, 9 minutes into this game, was up by 24. Its largest lead of the season, Notre Dame's biggest deficit of the season. But multiple times, when it feels like Notre Dame is dead, well, they just haven't gone away.
They've just dug deep and got stops, and now they're starting to make shots. You talk about game. I heard basketball was a game of runs, but I didn't know it was going to be the game of runs of this magnitude.
10-point game, 3.5 minutes to go. Notre Dame, you saw, on a 15-1 run to get back into this thing. And Wirtz hoists.
Big shot.
Swirls it out. Offensive rebound, Goodwin, a fresh 20. Starling is wrapped up by Worley and had it roll out.
I think Coach Bray got a legitimate call. I thought it was a breakaway. I thought he had a direct line to the basket. And I know it was not breakaway, but he fouled him, literally wrapped him from behind. I mean, you can't say that's going for the basketball. It just grabs him.
So just 2 shots.
2 shots there.
For J.J. Starling. We get word from the officials. And Starling goes to the line. Just 62% there here in his freshman season. Makes the first. Coming up next over on ESPN, just over 10 minutes from now, we'll take you to Rupp Arena in Lexington for Oscar Tshiebwe and Kentucky hosting Georgia.
It's a big game there for Kentucky. Following the Tennessee game, you want to try to build on that.
Split at the stripe for Starling. Florida State's lead is 9, 3:15 to go.
That's all right. They got to continue to do it on this end. And that wasn't an empty possession. You wanted 2 free throws, you got 1, that's fine. But you got to continue to guard here.
They forced Florida State into 4 minutes without points for the Noles. Cleveland backing down. Goodwin sends it back out for Worley, trying to take Leschewski off the bounce. Worley with a hook shot that goes.
That's a big time shot there by Leschewski. They wanted to attack him in the switches, and Worley just with a great move and a great finish.
Coaching staff told us earlier today he's got to be in double figures. Hadn't been all season until tonight with 11. And Starling answers, and it's back down to 8.
And they got extended pressure here. They got to pick up now and got to get stops.
Worley right to the rim, and he gets fouled. It's a block on Leschewski, and Jalen Worley will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, I think he was late getting there. Great drive by Worley. Leschewski slides over there at the last second. He tried to get out of the no charge area. Just got caught moving, sliding over there as Jalen Worley went to his left hand to finish.
65% in his 2 years collegiately for the sophomore from Philly. Misses the first.
Yeah, has a little hitch in his shot. I know he's been working on that again. We talked about that earlier with the work Coach Steve Smith does with those guys. And
staring into the teeth of the Leprechaun Legion. Splits. 9-point game, 2:23 left. With Cormac Ryan on the bench for Notre Dame. They're going for the offense here with the 5 on the floor.
just keep
Hammond off the bounce.
Yeah, keep putting. Oh, great defense. Keep putting pressure on the rim.
Goodwin got it back, carving out space, forced one up, and well defended by Caleb Mills.
Great job there by Mills and Cleveland coming over to help. Thought when he saw the defender. I thought he could have kicked it out for an open defender, a teammate for 3, but didn't see him. Had a good look.
Foul on Wirtz, his second. Notre Dame's last to give before the 1-and-1. Florida State trying to get back to 500 in the ACC for all the injuries they have dealt with this season. And they're going to go for the quick foul on Worley. Put him on the line.
He's the guy. You got to, if you want to foul right now, the other guys are too good from the free throw line. You know, Cleveland is the second worst free throw shooting. He's 70%. The rest of the guys here are 80+. So I think whenever Worley gets the ball, you're going to foul him instantly. Almost like hack-a-shack situation for the rest of the half.
Even the big guy, Cam Corrin, at 6'10" for a freshman, 82%. 82%.
I mean, but I wouldn't hesitate to foul him as a freshman here because I don't know if he's been in this situation yet in a game like this on the road.
Worley makes the first.
But you got to get it close enough to put pressure on him. Right now, 10-point lead, under 2 minutes to go. It's not a lot of pressure, so you need a little bit of help in that aspect because you can't let them milk the shot clock.
Worley splits, 2 of 4 his last 2 trips. 10-point game, just under 2 minutes left.
You got to go quickly here.
Leschewski straight on. No. Offensive rebound again.
You don't have to shoot a 3. Get to the rim.
Wirtz did. Now back out Hammond off the shot fake. Yes. Down to 7.
You don't have to take 3s there. Put pressure on the rim, force rotation, and then find your 3s. If not, just finish at the rim.
Do you funnel it to Worley and foul him? Or not? They'll just foul Caleb Mills. 85% this season, 82% for his career.
Yeah, he's not the guy you want to foul, but the clock is your enemy right now. The ball touches the paint there. Good kick out. I thought he had the shot right there. But he's a lefty. Lefties like to go to that right hand to get in the rhythm, and he knocked it down. He's been in the rhythm all night.
1-and-1, and Mills makes the first. Very early for Notre Dame to start fouling. They basically started doing it with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, but the clock will be your enemy. You want to string these possessions out, and they look at it as though you can go 2 for 3. So they're going to drive this basketball again. If they rotate, they're going to look and trade for 3 for 2.
They like their odds of the free throw line rather than their ability to get a stop.
Because the enemy is they're against the clock now. You don't want Florida State now. If they get 1 possession, they can run the clock under a minute, and the time is against you now. So now you just got to move quickly, and you got to score. Obviously, drive it. Don't just settle for 3. Drive it, force rotation like that, and finish. Shoot.
Goodwin.
Bang.
For 3. Even with Baba Miller just into the game, closing out at him at 6'11".
And now you got another guy between Worley and Baba. They put Baba in for defensive purposes, but now you can foul him. And now that's what the mistake was made. Baba didn't rotate. You see Caleb Mills kind of talking to him now, letting him know, like, that's your rotation there, big fella.
So watch 11 in black on the rotation.
Yeah, came over to help. He's saying, I didn't need the help. At this point in the game, if you're Florida State, you're okay with sacrificing 2-point shots. You don't want to give up 3 like Baba Miller did there. They're calling him over to the bench to explain that. Because if you make your free throws, you're okay with giving up a 2. You're just trading 2-point shots and going 2 for 2.
1-and-1 front end make for Worley.
That's a big free throw right there. And this is with Florida State. I think they're trying to tell these guys, hey, we're okay with them scoring in the paint too. Don't help, don't rotate. You saw Baba Miller making a freshman mistake there.
Makes both. The lead is 8 with 1:09 left for Florida State.
Same thing. Ball screen, attack the switch, get to the paint.
We get a foul that goes against Cam Corrin. He got tangled up with Nate Lashesky. 16 fouls on Florida State. So 1:04 left. Notre Dame to inbound on the baseline.
At this pace, the game takes forever. But it's just, you see Mike Gray knows the clock is his enemy right now. He's just stringing the game out. He knows he has 3-point shooting at his expense. He just got to get lucky and make a couple more.
A reminder, we will get you to Lubbock, Texas. Baylor, Texas Tech coming up 5 minutes from now. Hammond, no. Weak side rebound, Worley, who's trying to be the closer for the Noles.
One dangerous thing about right now, you got enough time to make them try to force it to someone else, but you're putting Worley at the line a lot, and he's, he's not a great free throw shooter, but you notice he's starting to get more comfortable. He's getting in the rhythm, and it's like practice. You want to put a guy there that hadn't been in a while, and sometimes you get lucky with those guys. Like I fouled Matthew Cleveland. He's only 70% of the year, but
double bonus now. 2 free throws for Worley. Again, we told you, the coaching staff said this guy's got to score in double figures for us tonight, something he hadn't done all season.
I think he's been the reason this team has taken a step. Matthew Cleveland I think he's been really good all year long, but his development and taking over that point guard role and creating for himself and others has freed up Caleb Mills to score and freed up Matthew Cleveland even more. And I think it's why the Seminoles are on their way to being 500 in the ACC.
Worley and Cleveland wrap up Wirtz there on the drive. It's Worley who gets hit with the foul.
Still not over yet. You're still going to foul, and you need some help making some free throws, or you need a turnover. So the one thing I like to see Notre Dame do here is extend their pressure, full court on the ball, try to get a 5-second call. They got one early tonight. When Baba Miller took it out, you got a 5-second count then. Extend their pressure, try to deny, and then if they get it in, then you foul.
Trey Wirtz makes the first. He's 3 for 3 at the line today. 72% this season for the 5th-year senior. Makes both.
Yeah, put your biggest defender on the ball. Now Florida State here, you can run the baseline.
Cleveland does. Keys it into Corrin.
Yeah.
And the big-bodied freshman will go to the line for the first time tonight.
Yes.
We told you 82% this season, but you said freshman and a guy who hasn't been there, you would like to put that type of guy on the line.
Yeah. You got to be careful of Worley because, again, he's fouled him so much you put him in a rhythm. Nothing wrong with putting the freshman up there. Another guy that hadn't been there. I know he shot 82%, but most of that is because he hasn't shot a lot of free throws either.
Guy was in the ESPN 100, had a huge game against Notre Dame the first time. And steps up and knocks down the first.
Man, cool as a cucumber. Didn't think twice about it.
How about these youngsters for the Noles?
He's selling them
stepping
back
up here.
Oh, wow.
Worley had stepped in.
He's lucky Bill Covington has allowed him to get in the free throw line there, because that's a violation. They could have taken that away.
Matthew Cleveland and Caleb Mills are looking at each other saying, whoa, we just got lucky.
Like, what are you doing?
And Corin, unfazed, sticks both.
Showing why he's 82%.
10-point game, 50 seconds left. Wirtz past Corin. 8-point game, 45.2 seconds left, and Mike Bray takes his final timeout. Again, the lead was as large as 24. If you're just joining us right now, if Notre Dame were to come back, certainly a tall mountain ahead, that would be the largest comeback in Division I men's college basketball this season. But Florida State at the free throw line is withstanding every Notre Dame push.
They have. They struggle from the field, you know, doing these runs. But, man, they have stepped up with water in their veins and knocked down free throws. Everybody's been pretty solid. Worley's missed one of each his first 2 trips, and since then they've been lights out.
You see the 3 teams that have done 23-point comebacks this season: BYU, Charlotte, and South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits. And Florida State trying to fend off Notre Dame down the stretch here.
Still got a little time here. Now you got to get a little lucky. You got to hope for a turnover, a couple of missed free throws now. You can't continue to now. You're running out of time to give up 2 and trade 2-point free throws and 2-point baskets now. So Notre Dame's going to have to come down and just start running their set plays, trying to get threes, which is difficult against Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's doing, Florida State's going to switch everything. So all your plays and your actions to get threes, they're going to switch. You know, we talked about Baba Miller made that mistake earlier, rotating. They're not going to rotate. They're just going to say, hey, if you want to drive in and finish at the rim, go ahead. You're going to have to foul us. We'll trade 2 for 2 till the game ends. And see if they can get a 5-second count here.
Programming note: Super Tuesday will continue. We will get you to Lubbock for Baylor and Texas Tech. Rich Hollenberg and Chris Spatola standing by for that one. 45 game seconds from now. Cleveland runs the baseline. It's into Mills. They get a trap. They try for a tie-up. Instead, it's a foul. They get Nate Laszewski for the foul of Mills. It's Laszewski's 4th. And Caleb Mills, an excellent free throw shooter, will go back to the line.
I was always frustrated with that as a player, because I think at times they're expecting you to foul in that situation and you're just actually trapping. And I think Cormac Ryan was telling the ref, like, hey, we were trying to tie him up. We weren't going to foul until he passed it out of the trap.
Mills 3 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, he's the guy you want at the line there.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, see the trap. They're thinking you're going to foul.
Yeah, it's a foul. I'm good with that. Are you?
Nah, I don't know. Depends. If I'm a Notre Dame fan, I wouldn't be. No, you can see Caleb Miller saying, hey, I want these free throws. I want the ball in my hands. And, you know.
He makes both. 10-point game. 40 seconds left. Wirtz pulls up. Spins it out. Cleveland, another rebound. He's got a career high 15 of them. Trying to put this on ice for Florida State.
What a streak he's on right now. Rebounding his basketball at just such a high level. And again, we talked about it early in the game. His rebounding and pushing the fast break helps this team so much, because they struggle at times to score. And if you defend, 81 points is short enough points to win on the road. And they've had their struggles at some points during this game, but credit to this Florida State team. They continue to compete and play hard.
I mean, Leonard Hamilton was beleaguered. He came limping in. He recently had hip replacement surgery in the last year, so he's on the mend. And you said, Coach, how you doing? He said, I might need to suit up tomorrow night, meaning here in this game here tonight. He's just been beaten down by all the injuries, not just this year, but last year as well. But boy, how about the fight in his group on the road tonight?
Yeah, well, he was unsure if 3 of his players are going to play tonight. So all 3 guys end up playing well enough for these guys to win, and they're going to leave here with a win.
Corin ahead of the pack for an exclamation. Yeah, Darin Green and Matthew Cleveland yesterday and Sunday, they both did not practice.
No.
Sounded like just some rest for a guy Two guys who have played heavy minutes.
Yeah.
But they were good to go, and they were the stars for Florida State to get a road win here in the ACC against Notre Dame.
And Baba Miller wasn't unsure. He started eating today from his tonsillitis. So great effort. Great effort by both teams tonight, but Florida State was the better team. They just came out with big runs, established it early. Notre Dame just ran out of gas. Credit to Florida State. Got themselves back to 500 in the ACC.
They hang on the road, led by their star, Matthew Cleveland. That does it. Super Tuesday continues. We will get you to Baylor and Texas Tech. Rich Holland.